Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we'll be looking at the Marvel Select Homecoming Spider-Man. And here he is in the packaging. You can see the figure, all the cool accessories. Of course, it's the typical big Marvel Select packaging. On the side we got some cool looking Spider-Man artwork. And then on the back of the packaging, it shows Spider-Man on the rooftop display that he comes with. And then we get a little look at the upcoming Marvel Select Star-Lord and the Marvel Select Doctor Strange, which came out a little bit earlier this year. So the packaging is cool. It's the same packaging they've been using for like the last 10 years or something like that. It's cool, it's big, so I'm not a huge fan of it. And once you take the figure out, it's garbage. It's not collector friendly or anything like that. So let's jump right into the articulation here. His head is able to go side to side, and it's pretty tight on there, so there isn't too much tilt. But you could get him to look down, all the way down pretty much, and then you could get him to look all the way up, or at least a pretty good amount, not all the way, but it's a decent amount. And then you've got this torso joint that you could kind of rotate around on. You could get him to tilt to the side a pretty good amount. Same thing this way. And then you could kind of get him to crunch an okay amount. It's a little more than I expected, because sometimes they put this ab crunch and it doesn't move very much at all, but it's pretty good in Spider-Man's case here. Get him to lean back a little bit. And then you could get him to twist a little bit, but not very much. And then let's see here, his arms are on a ball joint, so they could go all the way around. His shoulder joints are really tight, by the way, so you gotta be careful there. But you get him to come out to the side here. Then you got the upper bicep swivel. Then you've got the double jointed elbows. And they're kind of hard to move. You gotta kind of mess with them. Then you got a swivel at the wrist here. And then a hinge at the wrist. And then let's see here. Like I said, his shoulder joints are really tight, so be careful when you're messing with them so you don't snap the peg right there at the arm. And then for his legs, you can get him to go out to the side. About that much, a pretty good amount. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these hips. It really looks funny once you start posing them. And then you could get them to go forward about that much. And then you could get them to go back about that much. Pretty good amount going back, actually. And yeah, these hip joints are crazy. They look really goofy when you start posing them. And you can't even really get them to kick that high. As you can see there, that's about as high as it could go. So you can't really get him into any like deep crouching poses or anything like that. That's about as far as you're going to get him to go. And it's not horrible, but it definitely could be better. I think I'm going to try to modify the torso on mine so I could get a little bit more movement and get some better crouching poses out of him. But we'll see. Like I said, it's not horrible, so I might just keep it like that. I don't know. Anyways, we got the upper thigh swivel, and then we have the double jointed knees. And of course there's no swivel here at the lower leg, which really sucks. I wish that it had that, but it's not there. Then for his feet, they're able to come forward about that much. Then you could kick them up about that much. And then they have the rocking ankles, which is nice. But I just really wish it had that lower leg swivel. I think the articulation is pretty good on this guy. A lot of times with Marvel Select figures, you'll see the promo pictures or the, the convention pictures or whatever, and you'll see all kinds of articulation points, but they won't work that good, especially in the torso area. But in this case, it turned out okay. You're able to get some pretty good movement. Definitely a lot better than something like the Amazing Spider-Man Marvel Select, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Marvel Select figure, which had a torso joint, but you couldn't move it at all. But yeah, so they didn't do a horrible job or anything like that in this case, but I think I could get a little bit more out of it if I make some modifications. So we'll see. And then for his accessories, he comes with a bunch of cool hands. He's got a pair of fists. He's got a set of open hands. Then he has a set of thwip web slinging hands. And then he has a set of like web gripping hands, but he didn't come with any webs. And then he comes with this awesome little display. This little like rooftop diorama thing. You got some nice sculpting here. Got some brickwork there. Check that out. This looks really cool. I like this a lot. And this looks cool. It's painted really nice and stuff like that. There's no like pegs for him to stand on, but that's not a big deal. But yeah, I love when Marvel Select includes these kind of things, especially with like Spider-Man, because he's a smaller figure than something like Hulk, so they definitely throw something in there to make you feel like you're getting your money's worth. So it's a very cool little display. In my opinion, I wish it was a little bit bigger though. It seems like it's a little small for the Marvel Select Spider-Man, but it looks good. I mean, it's not tiny or anything, but it could have been a little bit bigger. Looks a lot better for your figure art Spider-Man, as you can see here. You can throw him on there if you don't want to use him for the Select Spider-Man. So now for some size comparisons, I was asked to do a bunch, so bear with me. I've got a bunch of different size comparisons in here, starting off with the Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures. Got the Pizza Spider-Man, and we have the Ultimate Spider-Man from the Space Knight Build-A-Figure wave. And then here he is with the MCU tech suit Spider-Man and the homemade suit Spider-Man. And he's definitely a lot bigger than them, obviously. He's a different scale, so, you know, in my opinion, I don't think you're really going to be able to fudge him into your Legends MCU display. But here he is with Netflix, Daredevil, and Civil War Black Panther. And here he is next to Marvel Select Age of Ultron Thor and Marvel Select Doctor Strange. And he looks really good compared to them. He's a little bit shorter than Doctor Strange, and I think that's good. He's a lot shorter than Thor, so that's awesome. Here he is next to Marvel Select Hawkeye and Marvel Select Agent Venom. A couple of my favorite Marvel Select figures right there. And then here he is next to Civil War Captain America and MCU Ant-Man. And I just feel like he should be a lot shorter than them. I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit tall. I don't know. I feel like he should be like at Cap's chest, but I don't know. And then here he is next to Marvel Select Spectacular Spider-Man and the Wolverine figure. Here he is with Mezco Captain America and Mezco Hellboy. And with some of your bigger 6-inch figures, he kind of looks okay, but he's still even a little bit taller than Cap there. And then here he is next to Marvel Legends Vulture and Figure Arts, you know, Homecoming Spider-Man. He looks like he's about the same size as Vulture. I mean, so you could probably get some cool shots out of him versus Vulture there, but I think that he should definitely be a lot smaller. But still, that might be easier to fudge than some of the other MCU Marvel Legends stuff. So this figure was sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios, it said on the back of the box, and I think they did a really good job. As you could see here, there's a few details missing, like on the legs here. There should be like the blue lines, the darker blue lines. They kind of left that out, I'm not sure why. But overall, it does look really good. There's a lot of nice little details on him. So they really went all out with it. Even like right here, like in the blue areas, you could kind of see a little bit of texturing there. So it looks good. And you could see it even more on the red parts. Try to get it here on camera. It's kind of hard to see, but you could see it there on all the red stuff. Even the blue, actually, you're able to see. You can see that it's all textured throughout. There isn't, I mean, it feels smooth, but you could really see it. If you look close, you could see all the texturing. So there's like no real smooth parts on them. Just a couple little paint scuffs on mine right there at the knee, but not a huge deal. But yeah, it looks good, and the face looks really good. I never noticed that the lines on Homecoming Spider-Man were doubled up like that, actually. It's kind of like two lines with the you know, red in the middle, and that's what makes up each individual line. That's kind of interesting. I never noticed that. Doesn't really look like that on some of the other figures, but it does look cool. I like the way it looks here. And the paint on this guy, for the most part, is pretty good. There's a couple little scuffs here and there. They did try to paint the pegs here, but there's a little scratch. You can see the red under. Same thing down here on the under the shoulder piece. They try to paint it blue over the red, but over time that's going to rub off. You could definitely tell there's some scratching in there. On the shoulder here, I got a little hole. I'm not sure what's up with that. That's kind of strange, but I'm sure that's just on mine. I doubt that it's on all of them, but not a big deal. But yeah, overall, the figure looks pretty cool. The only big things, in my opinion, that don't look great are the hips. It's really only when you're posing him, because as you could see, when he's just standing there, the hips don't look bad at all. But once you start kind of moving him around, they do look kind of weird. You know, I really don't like the way that looks. But, you know, if you're posing them around and stuff like that, you could hide it. It's fine, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal. I do wish that they went with the ball joints instead, but, you know, it is what it is. They chose those, and they're not horrible, but it just would have looked better with ball joints. Those kind of joints just don't work for Spider-Man. A lot of their figures have them. Here he is with the Marvel Select Spectacular Spider-Man, and they used ball joints on him, and you could see they look a lot less awkward when he's posed like this. Yeah, so I think this figure would have benefited from the ball joints. I love this Spectacular Spider-Man figure, by the way. He's one of my favorite Marvel Select figures, but yeah, I think this new Homecoming Spider-Man should have had the ball joints. So overall, I really like this figure. My only huge complaint is probably the hips, but you know, I knew what kind of hips he had on him when I bought him, so I can't be too mad about it. They do look kind of weird, but you know, they really don't bug me as much as I thought they'd bug me. I still really enjoy the figure. I really like the fact that he comes with a bunch of different hands and this cool stand, this diorama thing. That really makes you feel like you're getting your money's worth. I do wish that he came with the Tom Holland head. I thought that I saw that he did in like at, you know, Toy Fair or Comic-Con or something. I could have swore that he came with a Tom Holland head. Maybe that'll be like a Disney Store version down the road or something like that. I know Marvel Select does that. But yeah, like I said, overall, I really like this figure. It's definitely worth the $25 or whatever that you're gonna pay for him. You know, I feel like pretty much for the most part I always get my money's worth with Marvel Select. You know, they always include cool stuff, and they always have great figures. In this case, this figure, it's really good. It could have been just a little bit better if they went with a different design choice. In my opinion, I think the ball joints would have worked a lot better for Spider-Man, especially for posing and things like that. And, you know, for the articulation, it's all good. The torso, I'm pleasantly surprised that it was able to move a little bit and wasn't just a cut that looked like it was supposed to move but couldn't. I am still going to try to get some more movement out of it. But, yeah, overall, he's a really cool figure. I'm very happy to have him, and I can't wait to get some more MCU Marvel Select figures. I know we have the Netflix Daredevil coming out pretty soon, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord figure coming out pretty soon. So I look forward to checking both of those out. So, anyways, thanks a lot for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that cool stuff. And thank you very much. Peace.